Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال تعالى يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تسألون به ورحمة إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. وقال الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطيع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثاتها بدعة وكل بدعة دلالة وكل دلالة في النار. All praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek His help and His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil within our own selves and the consequences of our evil deeds. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides will never be led astray, and whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to be in error, then there is no guidance for them. I bear witness there is no God save Allah alone, who is one and has no partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and His messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the book, which can be written into English as, O you who have believed, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except as Muslims in submission to Him. And again He says, O mankind, fear your Lord who created you from one soul and created from it its mate and dispersed from both of them many men and women. And fear Allah to whom you demand your mutual rights, reverence the wombs that bore you. Verily Allah is ever watching over you. And yet again, O you who have believed, fear Allah and speak words of appropriate justice. He will then amend for you your deeds, forgive you your sins, and whoever obeys Allah and His messenger has already attained a great success. You should know that the most truthful speech is the book of Allah. The best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the worst affairs are newly invented matters. And every newly invented matter is religious innovation. and every religious innovation is misguidance, and every misguidance is in the hellfire. As for what follows, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us to fulfill the command, or you who believe in the call is made on Jumu'ah, then quick business and hasten to remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That it's best for you if you but knew. In this regard, it is always good to occasionally go over Jumu'ah. So I would like to present an expose from one of our present-day scholars on the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah. So after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, O people, fear Allah and know that Salat al-Jumu'ah is from among the greatest religious rites of Islam. In it is great benefit and much good. Acquaintance, closeness, and cooperation between the Muslims is achieved through it. And through it, the strength of the religion and the infuriation of the disbelievers and the hypocrites are displayed. Achieved through it is the energy for action upon good deeds, a safeguard from laziness, and protection from the whispers of the shaitan. For indeed, shaitan can overpower the one who prays alone, but he distances himself from the one who prays in Jama'ah. And in it is the multiplication of reward, and an increase in levels, and the abandonment of evil deeds. And in it is isolation from hypocrisy, and one acquires through it the characteristic of the believers who maintain the houses of Allah with obedience. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the mosque of Allah should be maintained only by those who believe in Allah on the last day, perform the salah, give the zakat, and fear none but Allah. It is they who are expected to be on true guidance. This is Surah Tawbah, verse 18. O slaves of Allah, indeed, for the Salat al-Jumu'ah are a set of rules and regulations which are obligatory upon every Muslim to know, so that he may perform it in the requested manner and attain from that its protection and its reward. From these rules is that it is legislated to arrive early for its attendance, be seated, and wait for the iqamah in the masjid. However, many people have failed to achieve this virtue. They greatly delay themselves in arrival for its attendance, so much so that much good passes them by. Also, from the rulings of Salat al-Jumu'ah is that the one who enters the masjid after the iqamah, then he proceeds with tranquility and calmness, so he does not hurry or run in accordance with the saying of the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you hear the iqamah, then proceed, and upon you is calmness. So whatever you catch, then pray it. And whatever passes you by, then complete it. Surely Rasulullah speaks truly. Verily, many people have failed to meet this standard. So you will find them hurrying and running if they enter the masjid after iqamah, especially if they find the imam in ruku. So by this they oppose the sunnah, and they disturb the imam and those who are praying, and they don't fulfill the responsibility for the sanctity of the masjid, and they enter the salat in irritation with preoccupied thoughts, and sometimes they overlook the first takbir, or they come to it after them while in ruku. And it is known that this takbir is a pillar from the pillars of the salat, and the salat is not complete. One comes with it. He must be standing upright before he goes into the ruku and says takbir. Also from the rules and regulations of the Salat al-Jumu'ah is that it is not correct for a man to stand behind a row by himself in accordance with the statement of the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was pleased to say, there is no salat for the one who stands alone behind the row. Ahmed and Ibn Majah have narrated this. Indeed, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw a man pray by himself behind a row, so he ordered him to repeat his salah. So one must be included in the row for Salat al-Jumu'ah, because the salat of the one who stands alone behind a row is not correct. But it is mandatory for him to join into a row or stand on the right side of the in the masjid who will form a row with it. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah is that it is desirable for those and the people of knowledge to be closest to the Imam, and the younger ones after them, in accordance with the statement of the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was pleased to have said, "Let the people of insight and intellect from amongst you be nearest to me." And this is narrated by Imam Ahmed and Imam Muslim. Also, the women should stand behind the men. Even if it is only one woman, she stands behind the row, and she does not join the men's row. If a woman prays with a man, then she stands behind him and not next to him, even if it is her husband. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah is that no one leads a salat in the masjid where is an imam except with the permission of the imam. It is not permissible for the imam, and it is not permissible for the imam to cause inconvenience to the followers by making them wait for his arrival longer than the normal amount of time. However, he should appoint one who is appropriate for the position in his absence. He cannot appoint one that is not capable to make the obligation completed. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah is that if the salat has started by way of the mu'ayyadin starting the iqamah, then it is not permissible to start the salat, the supererogatory salats, the nafils, not the designated nafils, nor those prayed upon in the masjid, and not anything other than these two, in accordance with the statement of the Messenger who said, "If the salat has started, then there is no salat except the obligatory salat." And this is narrated by Imam Muslim. And in another narration it states, "There is no salat except the one that has started. However, if one has already began his prayer and the salat started, then he should try to complete his salat quickly and not to cut it off, in accordance with the statement of Allah who says, 'Render not vain your deeds.'" Furthermore, whoever enters and finds the people already offering the salat in the condition he finds the people in, whether it be standing or in ruku or in sajda or sitting. So if he finds them in ruku, then he enters with them into ruku. And with that, he would have caught the whole rakat upon what is correct. And if the rakat passes him by, whatever is left from that rakat, then he does not get that rakat, but has to offer that rakat after the. Some of the people, if they come after the ruku, then they stay standing until the imam stands for the following ruku. And this is incorrect and in opposition to what has been legislated. And some of them, if they come and find the imam in the last tahajjud, they do not enter upon jalsa. And this is also incorrect because it is in opposition to the sunnah. On the authority of Abu Hurairah, who said, "The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, if you come to the salat and we are prostrating, then prostrate, and do not include the rakat in anything of it. And whoever catches a rakat, he has caught the salat." And this is narrated by Imam Abu Dawood. On the authority of Ali ibn Talib, he said that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "If one of you comes to the salat and the imam is in a certain state, that is standing, sajda, etc., then do as he is doing." This is collected in the hadiths of Imam Tamimi. And from the rules and regulations is that one being led in prayer by the Imam follows him with completeness, so that his statements and actions in the Salah are actions of the Imam. Because the one being led is a proceed the one followed. The Prophet ﷺ, do you not fear that if one of you were to raise his head before the head of the Imam, that Allah would change his head to the head of a donkey, or change his form to the form of a donkey? And this is narrated in the Sahihs of Bukhari and Muslim. It is been narrated in Hadith, which is authentic, that indeed the Imam has been designated to be followed. So do not bow until he prostrates. Imam Ahmed and Abu Dawood, they also narrate, indeed the Imam has been designated to be followed. So if he bows, then bow, and do not bow before he bows. Prostrates, then prostrate, and do not prostrate before him. The companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, never used to bend their back until the Prophet ﷺ was in sajda. They would go down in prostration after him. And when Umar saw Imam, he struck him and said, "You did not pray by yourself, nor did you follow your Imam." And from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah is that one who enters the Jumu'ah late stands up after the Imam completes the second salam to complete what he has missed from the prayer. And he does not stand before that. For some people are hasty, so they stand upon hearing the first of the salams. And this is a violation of the salah. And some scholars say it may even nullify it. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah is that one being led in the Salat should listen to the recitation of the Imam if he is reciting out loud in the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who says in the Quran, "So when the Quran is recited, listen to it and be silent that you may receive mercy." In Surah Al-Araf, verse 204. And if the Imam is not reciting out loud, hear the recitation of the Imam because of the distance between the two of them, then he can recite as long as he does not disturb those who are on his side. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah is to complete each and every row and tightening and straightening them. On the authority of Kabir, who said that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ came in upon us and said, "Will you not line up as the angels line up in front of their Lord?" So we said, "O Messenger of Allah, who do the angels?" And he said, they complete the first row and they tighten the rows. It's narrated by Imam Muslim. Also on the authority of Anas, who said that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Straighten your rows, for indeed the straightening of the row is from the completion of the Salah." And Anas reported that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, the Messenger of Allah said the Messenger of Allah used to face us before the takbir, and he used to say, "Tighten and straighten your rows." And Abu Umayna said that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Straighten your lines and align your shoulders and yield your hands to your brothers and close the gaps, for indeed Shaitan comes between you through them, just as a small lamb does." And this is narrated by Imam Ahmed. So these hadith are proof upon the obligation to take heed to the completion, straightness, and the closing of the gaps in the rows. And this is achieved through the closeness of those praying. And the joining of ankles does not mean for a person to stand like one who is bow-legged, as some of the people do today, but distancing one of his foot from the other until he takes the space of two men, and he harms the one who is by his side, and leaves a wide opening between his legs. For indeed, all this is in opposition to the Sunnah. For indeed, the Sunnah is tightening the rows by those praying, coming close together until they do not leave between them any gap. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah, is that the one being led in Salat can correct the Imam if he makes a mistake in his recitation or forgets. On the authority of Masir Yasid, the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu prayed with us and left out an ayat in his recitation. So a man said to him, O Messenger of Allah, the ayat is such and such. And the messenger said, then why did you not? On the authority of Anas, who said, the companions of the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu used to cue each other in the Salat. Also, from the rules and regulations of Salat al-Jumu'ah, is if the Imam omits some element in the Salat, those following him pointed out to him by the men saying Subhanallah and the women clapping if they are behind him. So, on the authority of Saul ibn Sa'id, who said that the Messenger of Allah said, if you misplace something in Salat, then the men say Subhanallah and the women clap. And this is narrated by Abu Dawood, and it is also in the Sahihs of Bukhari and Muslim. This is a proof upon the permissibility of reminding the Imam if he should omit something in the Salah. Also, the Messenger of Allah said, if one of you prays with the people, then let him shorten the Salah. For indeed amongst them are the sick and the weak and those who have needs. And this is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. And what is meant here is moderation. So he does not lengthen it so much that it becomes a difficulty upon them. Nor does he shorten it with a neglectful shortening, such that the one behind him cannot complete that which is obligatory upon him from the pillars of the Salat and its obligations. He concludes by saying, fear Allah, O slave, fast generally, and in your Salat specifically, for indeed it is a pillar of Islam. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and perform the Salat, give the zakat, and bow down who bow down. وقولي قال هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. I say this as a saying of mine, and I seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me and for you and to the rest of the Muslims. So ask him for forgiveness, for he is the forgiver, the merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad Khatib al-Anbiya wal Mursalin wa al-Ali wa sahbihi wa tabi'in bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of all the worlds, who is the seal and the last of the sick ones from Allah. And may his peace and blessing be upon the messenger of Allah, upon his companions, their companions, and all of those who follow closely behind till the day of judgment. Inna Allah wa malaikatuhu yusalluna ala nabiyyi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali salli wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad آدي منك آدي وقام وصلي على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل ملائكته مقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون ولذكر الله تعالى وأزاء وأجل وأتم وأهم وأكبر. Certainly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all of his angels send blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. O you who believe, send blessings and peace upon him also. Hence we say, O Allah, send as many blessings on Muhammad and his family as the number of standing and sitting in prayers by all of his followers. O Allah, send thy blessings on all the prophets, distinguished angels, and the righteous servants of yours, and cover them up with thy mercy and kindness. For thou art the most beneficent, the merciful. O servants of Allah, Allah has certainly commanded kind towards the affairs of men and render assistance to your kinsmen. And Allah has forbidden you all kinds of sinful acts. He has given you a clear warning that you may take heed and tread the right path. And the remembrance of Allah is the greatest of all actions. He is the superior, the elevated, the glorious, the honored, the faultless, and the magnificent. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to get something for what he has revealed and what this message has said. Coming to Salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, qad qamatis salah, qad qamatis salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Read. Come. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawm Al-Din. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا ولك الحمد.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.